Good morning, my dear students. How are you? Yes, you are all fine. I'm also fine. Today, we are going to the new lesson written by Vaikom Muhammad Bashir, a well-known writer from Kerala, our own state. The title of the story is The Snake and the Mirror. What is the title? Yes, The Snake and the Mirror. Snake, have you seen a snake in your life? Yes. Most of you will be feared when you hear this name, snake, because it has venom. If it bites, we will die. So here there is a very interesting story written by our own writer, Vaikom Muhammad Bashir. Actually, he wrote this story in Malayalam itself. It is a translation. Okay. If you want to clearly understand the words, the dialogues of Vaikom Muhammad Bashir, you have to read its Malayalam. Okay. After reading this in English, you can go for a Malayalam version. Okay. So, first of all, let me explain the profile of Vaikom Muhammad Bashir. You must have learned the profile of Vaikom Muhammad Bashir from lower classes. May not be in English, maybe in Malayalam. So, here we are going to discuss the profile of Vaikom Muhammad Bashir. Vaikom Muhammad Bashir was born in 1908 and died in 1994, who is fondly remembered as Bepur Sultan, who is a humanist, freedom fighter, novelist, and short story writer hailing from Kerala. Hailing means a native from. He is a native of Kerala. So he is fondly remembered as what? Bepur Sultan. He is noted for his disarmingly down-to-earth style of writing that made him equally popular among literary critics as well as the common man. So, what is the specialty of Vaikom Muhammad Bashir? That is the way of writing. The words used by Vaikom Muhammad Bashir is very important. It is named as what? It is named as down-to-earth style. Down-to-earth style means the style of common people. You might have read the stories written by some other authors which may not be easily understood because they use tough words. Sometimes it may be in Malayalam itself. Malayalam writers, they write in Malayalam itself. But even though Malayalis cannot understand such writing. But here, Vaikom Muhammad Bashir, he used the way of writing which is very common in Kerala. That's why the stories, novels written by Vaikom Muhammad Bashir was very popular even among common people. Okay. So, what were the notable works of Vaikom Muhammad Bashir? Can you say any novel written by Vaikom Muhammad Bashir? Yes. I will tell you. ബാല്യകാല സഖി, ശബ്ദങ്ങൾ, പാത്തുമ്മയുടെ ആട്. യു മൈറ്റ് ഹാവ് read it. Then മതിലുകൾ, എൻ്റെ ഉപ്പുപ്പാക്കാർ ആനണ്ടാർന്നു, ജന്മദിനം, and അനർഘ നിമിഷം. These were the notable works of whom? Yes, Vaikam Muhammad Bashir. You must have read most of these works, or you must have heard these works. So, if there is a library nearby your home, and also in our school library, these books are available. Okay, take it and read and enjoy. So, he was awarded the Padma Shri in 1982. So, he contributed a lot to Kerala literature. So, he was awarded Padma Shri in 1982. Okay, so that is what the profile of whom Vaikam Muhammad Bashir. Okay, so let's go to that lesson. The snake and the mirror. So here is a story about whom a lonely life of a doctor who encounters an unwelcome guest. So who is that doctor? Who is that unwelcome guest? Let's find out. Okay. Has a snake ever coiled itself around any part of your body? A full-blooded cobra? All of us fell silent. The question came from the homeopath. The topic came up when we were discussing snakes. We listened attentively as the doctor continued with the tale. So here, story is starting with a question. What is the question? Has a snake ever coiled itself around any part of your body? Let me ask the same question to you. Has a snake ever coiled itself around any part of your body? Anyone? No. You know that if you see a snake, you will run away from there. Yes. So here, who is asking this? The question came from the homeopath. Which was a snake, no? A full-blooded cobra. A full-blooded cobra means a very active, very strong cobra. Cobra means, a venomous snake. The question came from the homeopath. Who is homeopath? Homeopath is a person who treats illness using homeopathic methods. We call him as homeo doctor. So the same. The main character in our story is homeopath. So he is now sitting with his friends, and the topic came up when we were discussing snakes. His friends, the homeopath and his friends, they were discussing about what? Snakes. That time, there were no mobiles, nothing. So after their work, all of them will gather in a place, and what will they do? They will discuss. They will discuss, and every day there will be a new topic. And here, what was the topic? Yes, today, that day, what was the topic? Snakes. So we listened attentively as the doctor continued with the tale. That gathering, attentively listened, very carefully they listened. Why? Because they did not have such a feeling in their life. Okay. It was a hot summer night. Then that story. It was a hot summer night about 10 o'clock. Summer. What is the time mentioned here? Summer season. It will be very hot. And it was 10 o'clock. What is the time? Yes, 10 o'clock night. I had my meal at the restaurant and returned to my room. Then the homeopath was alone in his room. So on that day, he went outside for having his meal. And after having meal, he came back to his room. I heard a noise from above as I opened the door. When he opened the door, he heard a noise from the top. The sound was a familiar one. He did not get feared. Why? Why? Because it was a familiar one. Every day he hears it. So it will not be a unfamiliar one. So that sound was a familiar one for whom? Our doctor. The sound was a familiar one. One could say that rats and I shared the room. Actually, the rent was given by whom? Yes, or homeopath. But who was also there? Yes, so many rats were there in that house. I took out my box of matches and lighted the kerosene lamp on the table. He took out what? The matchbox and lighted it. And he lighted the kerosene lamp. Kerosene lamp. Such a lamp, kerosene lamp may not be there in your home. But now, everywhere it is electrified. Remote areas are there without electrification. So, but here, that house was not electrified. The house was not electrified. It was a small rented room. I had just set up medical practice and my earnings were meager. I had about 60 rupees in my suitcase. Along with some shirts and dhotis, I also possessed one solitary black coat which I was then wearing. The house was not electrified. That's why he did not switch on the light. There was no electricity. And it was a small rented room. A small one because he was alone. And I had just to set up medical practice. After completing his study, he just set up what? He just set up a medical practice in that area. So his earnings were meager. Meager means very small. It was not enough for him. Why? Because it happened so many years ago. More than 30 years ago. So at that time, only very few people went to the doctors because almost all were very poor. Okay, so his earnings were meager. Along with some shirts and dhotis, I also possessed one solitary black coat which I was then wearing. What were the possessions of whom? That homeopath. What were they? Along with some shirts and dhotis, I also possessed one solitary black coat. One black coat was there, solitary. Solitary means only one. Some shorts were there, dhotis were there, and what? And a solitary black coat which I was then wearing. Now he is wearing that. What? That black coat. So his possessions were very meager, that also we can say. So this is what the basic idea about whom? That homeopath and his room and his earnings and all. Okay, so this is what the today's class. I have taken only a small portion. So today's work is that you have to write down 3 side question answers, and also you have to write down the profile of whom? Vaikom Muhammad Bashir. Okay, thank you.